Hi boys, just some quick reminders about how to deal with inserting pictures and making sure you're doing that correctly and that your links work, and packaging your InDesign file. So I have half a spread here. I've done one page filled with the text. Please don't pass judgment on the design quality of it. I just did this kind of quickly. So I have a bunch of text up here and down there, and a big column right here. You'll see it's 3 columns. I've spread these image frames across 2 columns, and I have a small one up here. So what I'll do is I'll just start dropping photographs into the image frame. So I've selected that one right there. I'm going to go to File, Place, Command D, and I'm going to select this photo right here and drop it in. And so there you'll see I'll pull over my info box, and it tells you that it's JPEG. It's 300 actual PPI and 867 effective PPI. And that second number is so large because the actual image has been condensed to fit into the InDesign frame. Now I'm going to go up to Object, and under Fitting it says Fill Frames Proportionately, so I'm just going to click on that, and it doesn't really change the photograph. It seems to be at the proportion that it can be. If you double click or you click on the photograph a few times, you'll see a brown box which expands outside of the frame. That's showing you the actual size of the photograph, just to let you know what you're losing and that kind of stuff. So I could actually stretch my box down if I wanted to, and so those are the kinds of decisions you have to make about what what you're actually going to show, how big your image frame is going to be, what you can lose, all that kind of stuff. But what you need to remember is that when you drop your picture in and it's only a portion of it, let's say it hasn't gone in properly or the way you expected it, just go up to Object, Fitting, and then select the first one, Fill Frame Proportionately. There are other choices that you can make, but you have to use them under very specific circumstances. Fill Frame Proportionately is probably the one you want to use. So I'm just going to drop in a couple more pictures by using the Place feature, Command D. I'll try that one. I'm not really sure what that picture is. I think it's just another collection of books, but you can see there how it's really zoomed in on something. So, and we have 300, 300. The color space, that's the same as the color mode in Photoshop. It's RGB. Now, if we were going to print this, we would have to go to Photoshop and actually change the color mode. Remember that you do your photo manipulation in Photoshop, so you can change the size of your photograph if you want, and you can set the correct mode and do all the usual things that you do to a photo in Photoshop to make it look nicer or to make it look different. So I'm going to go up to Object, I'm going to go to Fitting and hit Fill Frame Proportionately, and you see it changes the picture dramatically. And it also boosted that, I can't remember if it boosted or decreased the effective PPI, but it's right there. That's a pretty big effective PPI. I mean, my guess is you'd probably want to reshape these pictures in Photoshop in order to make them a little more appropriately sized, but we're not too concerned about that right now. And then my third frame, I'll do a Command D, and I'll just pick this one right here. We'll see what happens. Okay, and it's a whole bunch of bone books. Okay, so it's 300, 300 RGB. I'll go up to Object, I'll go to Effects, I should say I'll go to Fitting, and I'll Fill Frame Proportionally, and it'll make it a little smaller, and because I squished it down, it increased the effective PPI to 867. So I have my 3 photographs there. I'm sorry, kind of boring, just book spines from the library. And I'm going to save my document, which I haven't done yet. So I will just save it on my desktop for convenience and call it Book Spines, INDD, and click Save. Okay, so I have my file, and let's say I want to send it to a printer, or you want to share it with me or something like that. So what you need to do is package it. So go to the File menu and select Package, and you'll get a series of messages right here, a summary of your document. You get you're packaging the entire publication, you've used one font, and you're not missing that font, and there are 3 links, and they're all there. So there doesn't appear to be anything wrong. I'll click that. That's just instructions for the printer that you don't need to worry about. It creates this save box, and it names the folder after the document. It's putting it in tests again. I'll just drag it back up to desktop. I'll click Package. This is a warning telling me that I have to use fonts that I'm legally capable of using. I can't steal fonts, or else I'll be breaking all kinds of licensing agreements and copyright agreements and stuff like that. So if you use a font that's just on your computer that came with your laptop, then you should be fine. Now it just does that quickly. Sometimes that takes longer depending on the complexity of the file, but this is pretty simple. So what we'll do is I'll show you. If I go to the desktop, there's the book spines folder right there. I'll open it. And so you'll see that it has the InDesign file right there. It has the document fonts, which in this case just includes Minion Pro Regular, which is the kind of standard default InDesign Adobe type font. And then in the links panel, in the folder, there's actually 3 photographs. And just to make sure you understand that, these are the original photographs. What you see in the InDesign document is kind of an AirSats version, or like a queue that points to the real photographs that are in this links folder. So if you simply send me the InDesign file itself without packaging it, you're not actually sending me the real images. And when I open it up, there'll be 3 error messages because these 3 photographs don't really exist. So you have to do that. So I'm just going to close that. I'm going to go back to the original folder just to see if you can see down here. I have no errors listed there, but let's say I wanted to check my document. You can go up to Window and then select Output is what you want to select. And in Output, there's something called Pre-Flight. And if you click that, it gives you basically just a little a summary, kind of like we've already seen in the packaging. But if you don't want to package it and you want to check for mistakes, you can do it this way. And it would, if there were mistakes in the document, it would tell me exactly what the mistakes are and where they're located, and provide me some assistance in correcting them if it was easily correctable. So that's about that. So when you're sending me a document, you want to make sure that you've packaged it. Oops, I've done something wrong to move that. I'll just put it back. You want to make sure that you've packaged it, and then, because of first class, I would really prefer if you zipped it or compressed it, because it explodes everything out of the folder when you send it through first class. Okay, thanks.